and welcome to another episode of Kindra Hall Unplugged, the place to be for all things story. Hey, if you're gonna live them, you might as well tell them. So today, in the spirit of this season, the end of one year, the beginning of another, I've decided to spend this entire episode focusing on one thing. The reason you don't get better, or you don't get as good as you could be with each passing year. I know, that sounds a little harsh even as I say it, but it's because I have the solution, and the solution is this. You may not know it, but your problem is that you are an excellent storyteller. Yeah, I said it. You weave compelling, intricate, persuasive stories that you tell yourself. And more often than not, these stories are the only thing that are holding you back. They're the only thing that are standing between you and whatever it is that you want for yourself for the new year. I've had enough of it. I've had to learn this lesson the hard way for myself, so we're gonna tackle it today in two simple steps. Step number one, identify. Here's the thing, this is the toughest part. These stories that we've been telling ourselves are so ingrained, they're so automatic that you don't even know they're happening. You don't even know that the reason you're here and not over there doing what you want to do is because of some silly story you've been telling yourself since like third grade. So the first step is to identify these stories that are holding you back. New Year's is the perfect time to start breaking down these stories. So here's what you gotta do. You gotta think about the major areas in your life. So like your physical well-being, the health of your family and your relationships, your business, your finances, you know, the pillars that hold our lives up, that make them feel complete. Then ask yourself in each one of those categories, like, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from being where you want to be? So I want to tell you about last New Year's Eve. Michael and I were sitting down. Okay, so this is gonna sound really dorky to you, but this is what we do on New Year's Eve. We make ourselves a nice dinner, we drink a really nice bottle of wine, and we tear apart the year before and reassemble it for the year to come so that it's super awesome. And every year we've had this thorn in our side, a very large thorn, and we call it the condo. It's not a four-letter word, but in our family it is. The short of it is, Michael bought this awesome condo, the market crashed, and at one point he had seen another unit that was exactly the same size as ours sell for $250,000 less than what we owed on our unit. Sure, it was rented out, but we were hemorrhaging, bleeding money every month because of this condo. But $250,000, that's a gap we just couldn't close. Or was it? Last New Year's Eve, after years of having this problem, we asked ourselves, is this just a story? Is this just a story that we're telling ourselves that there's nothing we can do? Or is there actually a solution? Because we challenged, because we identified and then challenged that story, 8 months later, we were break even. A burden, a weight that had been holding us back for the entirety of our relationship and would have for years and years to come have been lifted, was gone. We are break even. And it's all because we realized that oh well, I guess that's just how it is. There's no way we'll ever recover from the condo was just a story we've been telling ourselves. As you sit down this New Year's and start making your resolutions, take a look at the major areas in your life and ask yourself if the thing that's been holding you back is just a story that you're telling yourself. So identify the stories first. Step number 2 is to rewrite the story. Once you've identified it, it is time to rewrite it. Now, there are a couple different ways of doing that. And the first one is to seek out a story that serves you. And here's what I mean by that. If you realize, if you identify that you have adopted a story that you're telling yourself that is doing you absolutely no good, you need to go out and find a version of the story that is a version that you like. Here's an example of that. When I was early in my first pregnancy, I had a knack for putting on weight. I mean, I put on pregnancy weight like a champion, and I started to get a little bit nervous about it. Like 4 or 5 months in, I'm thinking, geez, what's gonna go on? So I called one of my girlfriends who had I think at that point she had had one baby, was pregnant with another, and I said, hey, what happens with this baby weight? And my girlfriend said, you know, I had a friend who told me that you just gain and keep 10 pounds per kid. I thought, that sucks. I did not want to adopt that story for myself. And so what I did is I went in search of stories that I did like. I went to all of my friends at the spin studio where I work out, and they're women who have 2, 3, 4 kids, and they look amazing. And so I started asking them their baby weight stories, and they were saying, yeah, you know, it took a little bit of time to get back into shape, but it all came back. I feel stronger than ever. And I thought, ha, that is the story I want for me. So when it comes to rewriting your story, after you've identified a story that isn't serving you, seek out stories that are the version that you want for yourself. And the other option for rewriting it is to just go for it. Here's the thing with Michael and I and this whole condo fiasco, we didn't know if the market would meet us halfway. We didn't know that if we saved this much money and if we raised the renter's rent and if we refund, we weren't sure if interest rates would drop just enough, but we sure as heck wanted to be ready if they did. You may not know if the rewritten version of your story is really gonna work, but you will never know unless you try. And it could mean that you really have your best year ever. Wow, I'm getting really excited about this. I'm sweating a little bit. What's important for you to know is this. Stories are extremely persuasive. This is why I have a job. Businesses, nonprofit organizations, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, they hire me because they want to persuade their audiences with their messages, and they know that personal stories is the way to do it. The catch, or not even the catch, but the other side of the coin is that when you are telling yourself an extremely persuasive story that is holding you back, you may never get ahead. So please follow the steps that I outlined in this video. Work to identify those stories that are holding you back, and then get to work rewriting them, whether you're seeking out stories that serve you or just go for it. Just get out your eraser, erase the old one, and start writing the new one. Whatever you do for New Year's Eve, if it means that you're getting dressed up in your little black dress, or you're putting on your PJs and enjoying an excellent bottle of wine, I sure hope that the beginning of 2014 is filled with beautiful stories that ensure that you have the best year ever. It was really great putting this message together for you, and I really hope it helps. I really hope that this information helps you have the best year that you've ever had. And of course, if you've found the information in this video valuable, by all means, pass it around. Share it with your friends, Facebook, Twitter, email, whatever. There's no reason we can't all have an awesome 2014. And of course, if you haven't already, go back to KindraHall.com. Click the subscribe here button so you are sure to be the first to get all of the great information that's coming out from KindraHall.com. Until next time, never forget, you are just one story from greatness. Thanks guys, Happy New Year. And in the spirit of the, what the hell is going on with these flies? There's one.
Got him.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Hi. Oh, there's another fly. There's another one. Okay. Ready?